Hey guys, we're back to recap the newest episode of Dorm Life, episode 224.
The Quiz Bowl. And we have two very special guests.
Not one, but two.
That's right. We have Courtney and Danny B. So guys, go ahead and say hi.
Hi, America.
What happened this week was a competition. Danny B, you were kind of leading the team. Now, how did you initiate this, or did Marshall ask you to do it?
I definitely had already heard about it. I read the college newspaper, and so I figured, who best but me to form a team?
The team was supposed to be you, Shane, and Josh.
Much to my dismay, I entered the room thinking that Josh would be back from his silly escapades. He was not back, in fact, and Linda was still there, and she, unfortunately, had all of his documentation, so I basically was forced to have her join us on the team.
Let's talk about Gopher and Abby a little bit. They were watching Elijah, which we know is Abby's fiance.
Son of Jeffer. And he was in the back chopping wood. I don't know if he was planning on building a fire.
For a minute, I thought I was going to see a scene from Win a Date with Tad Hamilton where he goes out and starts chopping wood next to Elijah and they have a competition. But he didn't even do that. He never seems like he's really trying to compete.
I think something that Gopher is probably thinking about is Abby hasn't really ever told him that she likes him. I mean, all she really said was, I'm engaged. So she never said, I'm engaged, but if I wasn't, I would totally, hook up with you. It's just I'm engaged. So I think he kind of doesn't even know if he should.
This wedding is under the authority of their culture. Maybe that's why he is respecting it and not trying to sort of intervene, because that would be disrespectful to Abigail and her entire people.
Let's talk about Marshall and Yasi a little bit.
Exactly where I was thinking
I'm
of
so
going.
glad we were thinking about the same thing.
It was good to see Yasi again this week. And we saw her being very friendly to Marshall, which I think is of note.
She's being the big person. I mean, that's what I noticed.
Yasi is a saint,
Aww.
as far as I am concerned.
Do you guys get to vote for RA of the Year?
It does not involve student voting, or at least I was not aware of this. I do think that there is some sort of committee or board that gets together and votes on it, and I think that Dean is the one that heads it. So I do think that Dean has a lot of sway when it comes to this competition.
That makes me worry a little bit because Marshall seems to get along with him really well, but obviously it's just a lot of show.
I think Dean might see through it, but I'm not sure.
I feel like Dean is always trying to give everyone a chance. He always listens without really making any judgments.
He is a very good listener.
I did love how Dean called the Quiz Bowl competitors baby geniuses.
You must have been putting those tick marks up there pretty fast with the way Danny B was going.
Yeah.
I've always known that Danny B is a mind. He's like Einstein. If only Einstein could be as smart as Danny B. It's kind of like that. So
I don't know if you should say that.
Right.
What was the final score? Do you remember, Danny B?
It was 90 to 20, but I do not remember. I should. I wrote it on a piece of paper and pinned it on my wall.
Naturally.
I was going to say, get it tattooed on your forearm.
As much as I have some freedom from my mother, if I got a tattoo, I'd grave.
Danny, we can put it in a place you won't look.
Courtney, if Danny B wanted to get a tattoo, would you take him to go get the tattoo?
Oh my God, I would walk him right over to my room and do it myself.
I'm not comfortable with that.
She's very comforting. I'll put on Chinese
I don't like
music.
needles. I do not like needles, especially when they are repeatedly entering my skin.
Only 1,004 times.
Danny B, I wanted to ask you this. Why didn't you make a last-minute change of plans and have maybe Mike on your team?
I do agree that I may have been a little bit harsh when I said I didn't need an expert in being average, but as much as that sounded like an insult, it was more just a testament to the fact that Mike is the everyman. I just feel like he has not experienced life in the way that is conducive to learning trivia. I think that maybe even Linda has led an interesting life.
That's
true. And I think that maybe she does have some, some jewels, some gems in that brain of hers.
Maybe Britt and Mike's point was that you should have asked him to be on the team before you asked a complete stranger. And even if you lost, it was still a friendly game.
Yes, I agree. Losing was not really in my plan. So, as much as it might have been a nice gesture, I am a very competitive person when it comes to academia, and I do not think that Mike would have even felt good about it if he had let us down.
I think he and Brittany are having a lot of fun hanging out together, and I noticed they were sitting next to each other, and so that was
Wearing
cool.
her Lady Danville
Yes,
shirt.
I was going to say, did anybody else notice? Courtney, what is going on with Brittany and Mike? Is there anything other than friendship going on there?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that Mike always still has the heebie-jeebies for her. Heebie-jeebies being like a good thing. No, I think that he, made it pretty clear that he had her feelings and she's not gonna be walked all over.
We saw that Elijah wanted to leave. Gopher took the time to explain that they really need our support as friends, and so I think you should stay. It seems like Elijah took Gopher's advice to heart and show his form of celebration, which was shooting a hole through the ceiling. First of all, what was he doing with a rifle in the dorm? What did you guys think about that?
From what I heard before meeting Abigail, he did meet with the dean, and apparently the gun is also a part of his culture. I'm not exactly sure why his cultural practices would trump our safety, but
Right.
For some reason they did. I do think that he was trailed by security guards, because they did respond very quickly.
Yeah.
They may have been watching him.
You guys probably don't know, but Danny B's a black belt, and I also am an expert in capoeira.
Oh, I
So
didn't
if
know that.
things were to get out of hand, I think we could have taken him down in probably 3 seconds flat.
Elijah gets arrested and taken to jail, and
he gets his one phone call.
Abigail picks it up, but true to her form, she doesn't speak. So what I'm wondering is, will she leave him there until the horse dies, so then she doesn't have to get married to him?
I think that Abby is actually quite shrewd. I think she's a strategist, and that's why I admire her the most, is her strategy.
Yeah.
I played that Beyonce song, if you want it, then you better put a ring on it.
Right,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't like the ring that Elijah was going to give her. So I think she's really making a comeback as her own woman.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay, so thumbs up
Yes.
goes to Josh for being an artist that's always pushing the boundaries. Thumbs down goes to Marshall because I still can't brush my teeth enough times to get his taste out of my mouth.
My thumbs up this week goes to Gopher. I think that I know,
Wow.
shocking, right?
Yeah.
He said what needed to be said to Elijah. Mainly the reason that I'm giving the thumbs up to Gopher is because what he said reminded me of Mike. My thumbs down this week goes to Abigail.
What?
She's not being very assertive, I think, and she's almost leading Elijah on. If she is going to be purposefully mean by leaving the phone unhooked, I think that it shouldn't have to go to that.
TomNLis, I will have to disagree. My thumbs up goes to Abigail, mainly because of her strategy. He has no proof that she even answered the phone, so she cannot be shunned in her community. Also, I think it's a good way of getting rid of Elijah. My thumbs down will go to the entire 5 North Quiz Bowl team. Not only because they lost, but because I'm not a fan of Sarah C. She's the one on the end. She's in one of my classes, and she likes to raise her hand and answer questions, and I'm the one that does that.
Oh. So she's kind of like treading on your turf, basically.
She is, in many ways.
I'm going to agree with Danny B and say my thumbs up is for Abigail. To me, it seemed like the only way that she could do something for herself to get out of it. My thumbs down is for Elijah. How can you know a lot about handling firearms and shoot a gun indoors
Thanks, guys, so much for listening in. It's been really fun this week.
And we might also have another special guest next week, so stay tuned for details.
Bye.
Bye.